I want you to imagine a situation where you are utterly speechless because you can't believe where you are and who you're with. It was someone you never thought you would meet, somewhere you never thought that you would be. I mean, you were in the presence of greatness and it just made you stop and think, I'm not worthy. For example, maybe it was an invitation to sing with Beyonce, to play one-on-one with LeBron or Kobe or MJ. To be in a TikTok with Addison Rae. Maybe it was catch a football from Tom Brady, swim with Katie Ledecky or Michael Phelps, lift weights with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, take an acting class with the cast of Hamilton. I'll tell you, for me, it would be to hit a baseball with Mike Trout, or to learn how to teach from Billy Graham, or marry Mackenzie Sherman. Oh wait, I did that and I am definitely not worthy of that. So take a few minutes and talk with the people around you. What would make you stop and stare in the presence of greatness and simply just say, I'm not worthy? Well, I hope you had good discussion. And look, if we all just had a minute to be really honest here, circle of trust, right? Do you ever find yourself at church or somewhere like Christian and think, I'm not worthy to do this? Like if they only knew. Or you hear about Jesus and think, I can never measure up. And last week we talked about this idea of discipleship, which means to imitate or learn. And we're called to be disciples of Jesus. And I don't know about you, but the idea of imitating Jesus, well, imitating, right? It's more like intimidating. And I wonder sometimes if I'm qualified. In Luke chapter 7, we see an interaction with a person that was dealing with this idea of unworthiness. You see, this man wasn't a pastor or a church leader with a squeaky clean reputation. He was a centurion, which is a Roman officer, and he had a servant, someone who worked in his home who fell sick. And the centurion, well, he really cared for the servant. So in a desperation situation, he sent a crew to find Jesus because he thought Jesus was his only shot. Luke chapter 7, verse 6, and it says, and Jesus went with them. When he was not far from the house, the centurion sent friends, saying to him, Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I'm not worthy to have you come under my roof. Okay, pay attention to the word worthy. Even though he didn't see himself as worthy, watch what happens next. He says this, therefore, I do not presume to come to you, but say the word and let my servant be healed. He says, Jesus, I'm not even worthy to have you in my house, but I know you're powerful enough. Say the word. Do a miracle. Verse 8, for I too am a man set under authority with soldiers under me. And I say to one, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. And when Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him, and turning to the crowd that followed him, he said, I tell you, not even in Israel have I found such faith. And when those who had been sent returned to the house, they found the servant well, a Roman centurion, totally unlikely. But if you look back, like in the first century, Romans and Jews, they didn't exactly like each other. And he says, I'm unworthy because of who I am, but he knows the only way is Jesus. The only way. And Jesus is amazed at his faith. See, this is the only time in all of Scripture that it says Jesus was amazed in a good way. From a guy, don't miss this, who did not feel worthy. You know, in groups tonight, I want you to focus on the following two phrases. Two phrases that the Jesus amazed at faith. Number one, he says, I'm not worthy. You see, verse 6, and if you've ever felt unworthy, I want you to know that that does not discredit you. Believe it or not, it's actually the first step. Join the club. You see, everyone around you, online or in person, we all fall short, and that does not rule us out from discipleship. You see, acknowledging that we are human beings is the first step, y'all. And when God looks at you, he does not see disappointment. The second phrase, the centurion just says, say the word. You see, he had confidence that Jesus would bring hope and healing to his situation. Say the word, Lord, and it will be done. And those two things, acknowledging, God, I'm not perfect, but I know and believe in who you are and your power. And simply just saying the word, those two things are the key. So where does that lead us? And what does that have to do with discipleship, imitating Jesus? See, here's the focus of groups tonight. Guys, discipleship is about process, not perfect. You see, faith that makes Jesus marvel is not a behavior contest. It's a process. It's an emphasis on becoming, which means that you and I, we don't just arrive at disciple, not a been there, done that, got the t-shirt type gig, right? There is no discipleship XP like Call of Duty, okay? We don't know anything about the centurion's life before that day. We're told earlier in the text that he was respected by the people in his community, but they don't list out his behaviors.
Well, he only cussed twice. He didn't make booty shaking videos on TikTok, and he always wished his mama happy birthday.
No! We don't know anything except that he recognized that there was someone worthy of a miracle, and it was not him. And he believed that God was worthy. Guys, I know a lot is going on right now, and I have never felt like I've had less control over my situation in my life. What a perfect time to focus on the process, to recognize that we're not the God of our situation, and our job is simply to trust the one who is. Tonight, you don't have to air your dirty laundry, but can we all just recognize that we're in process? Look, we love you guys, and I love these house groups, and I'm grateful to God for this moment. And remember, discipleship is about process, not perfect. We'll see you next week.